Drive, gets inside, leans in, knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Dollar up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. To Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Missed the dagger.
Here's the problem I'm seeing. Zion's gonna want out soon. Here's the thing, I don't think the front office of that organization, of that New Orleans organization, knows what the heck they're doing.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Josh Unangst, and today we have the bonus episode. While I was talking to you guys yesterday on the podcast, if you guys were there listening to me break down Depoy 6th Man of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Coach of the Year. If you guys have not gotten a chance to listen to his podcast episodes, I fully 100% just recommend you guys listen to those episodes. Really good episodes on the MVP and Rookie of the Year, and then of course breaking down Depoy and all those other awards. I mentioned to you guys yesterday, I was letting you guys know that I was going to be doing a special podcast episode on the Phoenix Suns. Just a very quick one detailing their current slump. I think you can say that they're just in a bad situation right now. It started out losing to Sacramento, and now it's continuing with their loss to Milwaukee. I'm not that concerned with Milwaukee as I was concerned with Sacramento and Golden State. I'm gonna explain why in a bit. But we're on a 4-game win streak after losing to Milwaukee this past Sunday. So then we went on, after we lost to Milwaukee, we went on to beat Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Oklahoma City. Then we've lost. Because Charlotte, if you guys remember, March 1st, even though it seems like a very long time ago, Suns beat the Hornets with Kevin Durant. That was Kevin Durant's beginnings. That was his debut, his road debut. And then he balled out against Chicago. Same with Dallas in that fashion. Because that was a very good game, a very tense game. Devin Booker and Luka Doncic got into it. And then we see Kevin Durant gets hurt. And I think the Suns are just being cautious with him. I think he's being cautious because it didn't look as bad as an injury to where he will need 3 weeks off. I think the team's just being cautious. I think, yeah, he could have been out for like a week or two, but I think they're just being very, very cautious, which makes sense. But even though he's only been missing 8 to 11 games, this is not a good stretch because without Kevin Durant, they're 1-4. Because you see here on Wednesday, March 8th, a week exactly, 7 days later, they're not with Kevin Durant anymore. Because during warm-ups, of course, the cleanup crew, they can't do their jobs correctly. They hurt Kevin Durant. Inadvertently, I get it. But still, frustrating nonetheless. They get the win without KD. But then, 3 days later, come that Saturday, March 11th, they lose to Sacramento 128-119. They lose to Golden State on Monday 123-112. And then yesterday night they lost to Milwaukee 116-104. They don't play again until tomorrow on the 16th, so they're going to get that mini break. But still, it's actually kind of disappointing. So, I want to start with Kevin Durant. I don't think we should be fearing about Kevin Durant, to be honest, because I think Kevin Durant will come back and he'll just be just fine. I think he'll be fine. I honestly do believe that. I think there's just more caution than anything surrounding him. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say. I don't think that they're like, okay, this is a marathon, not a sprint, so they're just trying to pace him. I honestly don't think that I just don't think that I don't seem to be worried about Kevin Durant. It's not the biggest injury in the world that he's ever suffered or any player could possibly suffer. So I wouldn't be getting wrapped up in all of that. I just wouldn't. So I assume when it comes to Kevin Durant, he's just going to have to run his course and they're going to be very cautious with him. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you're looking at the future, not the present, even though it's going to get really rocky. And I'm going to bring up their schedule soon before I talk about what's happening in these free games. But real quick, before we jump into today's bonus podcast episode, you guys know where to find me. Besides CourtSideHeat.com, you can find me on Twitter.com/CourtSideHeat, Facebook.com/CourtSideHeat, Instagram.com/CourtSideHeat. You can find me practically anywhere and everywhere. So yeah, guys, just go to one of those, just like, subscribe, do all you can, especially if you're listening to this on YouTube. Definitely like, definitely subscribe, send this to family and friends, because these are bangers for sure, but this is such essential news and such essential breakdowns. And this is a bonus podcast episode. This will not be happening every Wednesday morning, but when there's something important like this, I definitely will go out of my normal schedule and create bonus content, because why not? But my normal routine, my normal schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday for podcast droppings. So with that being said, guys, you know where to find me. And let's just break down this schedule. Let's break it down. Let's break down this schedule. I'm going to go to the end of March. Because that's when we can start to expect the return of Kevin Durant. That'll be 3 weeks, right? Yeah. So, because you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. 12 games that he'll be missing. And that was the timeline in and around those 12 games. If it was a quote-unquote traditional 3 weeks and they're going to stick to the routine. Just bearing that he doesn't suffer a setback. So, the good news for the Suns, this first, they're taking on Orlando. Look, they're taking on Orlando. I know they're coming off a back-to-back, but they're taking on Orlando. If they lose to Orlando, then we have bigger issues than any of this. It's just like the Celtics losing to the Rockets. Like, that's actually pretty perfect. That's when you know a team's not doing so well in that period. Great team, just really bad stretch of basketball. Same could be said for the Suns. I think the same could be applied. I truly do believe that. So you're going to be able to beat Orlando. Oklahoma City, that's a different story. Just from the perspective that they're fighting. They're in the play-in tournament. They're in and around the play-in tournament, and they can make a legitimate run for that playoff push, for that playoff spot. So you can't roll them out. That's going to be tough. And then you got to face the Lakers again. You got to face the Lakers. And real quick, the Thunder in 8th. So they're in and around that playing spot. They need to make it to 6 to get out of playing. Which it's not inconceivable. In fact, it's highly probable. They're only 2 games behind 6th and 5th. So that says a lot. So if they win their next 4 games, let's say the Clippers and Warriors and Timberwolves, they're rocky. They're right there at the 6th and 5th. Which is something very, very interesting to think about. Very interesting to think about. So, there's a lot to be said about that. Now, I know they blew out the Thunder. I know they blew out the Thunder by 31 points. I get that they beat them by 30. I get that Booker had 44. But there's always a different beast. And I get it that you're riding off the momentum of Dallas, Chicago, Charlotte, and you're building on to that momentum. And I know Devin Booker wanted to go ball out because Kevin Durant couldn't go. I get all of that. But now you have to face the consequences of this. You have to face consequences of how bad this loss, this losing streak, is. Because these are against free quality teams. So you should be able to rebound against Orlando. You're going to have a little tough matchup come 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, March 19th. But you should be able to beat them. Los Angeles, you should be able to beat them. But then you're going up against Sacramento and Philly. That's tough. Then you got to go to Utah, come back home against Minnesota, stay at home for against Denver, away for Oklahoma, then San Antonio, Denver, Los Angeles, LA. The quote-unquote easy games are going to be Orlando and San Antonio. I honestly do believe that. So they only have 2 more free games. 2 free guaranteeing a win games. Because they have to play Denver 2 more times. They have to play OKC 2 more times. They got to play LA 1 more time. They got to play Clippers 1 more time. They got to play Philly 1 more time. They got to play Utah 1 more time. And Utah is not as bad. That's a little more, less harsh? But I don't know about the Suns. Because the Suns, despite them winning, had to go to OT against the San Antonio team. Now, they were 26 and 25 out for the win. So, let that be known. But still. So we've had our hardships, but it's definitely not been easy. It's not been easy. So we have a lot on the line. I don't think that the Suns can't get to second now. There have to be a lot of dominoes. There have to be a lot of things. Because they're 3.5 games out of third now. They're in fourth. And they're 4.5 games out of second. They're out of second. Third becoming a little more unrealistic. Sadly, it's just that way. I hate to be that way, just it is. So, take that as you will. And since we're taking it that way, the Kings probably have our number. If you guys have not seen that podcast episode, highly recommend you guys go check that out because, man, Kings are rolling, and their head coach is going to be doing very, very well. Michael Brown is going to be doing very, very well for himself. They're 40 and 26, 19-13 away. So, with that being said, just laying some of the groundwork for the standings, I just wanted to say one more thing. The Warriors are only a half a game behind. That's not a lot of breathing room. Same for the Clippers. So, the Suns, they need to start winning. They absolutely need to start winning. Undoubtedly so. So, I want to talk about this. Where do we begin? So, if you guys saw the Kings game, you saw the Kings-Suns game. This was a must-win game to try to contend for second, right? Because you're like, well, Phoenix is still leading the series 2-1. Sure, I get they got pumping out on the 24th. But when you're looking at that, if you would have won that game, and since the Kings lost again, and now they're 40 and 27, they would have actually been 39 and 28. And the Suns being 38 and 30. That would ease up things a bit. And I think that would have kind of changed the momentum for the Suns against the Bucks and the Warriors. At least I want to believe that. I do want to believe that. I think that is possible. Also, hold on real quick. I have to check something. My apologies. 37 and 32. Yeah, that's the Suns' current record. Okay. Sorry, mine did not update on my end. My bad. But no, so Dallas obviously snapped the Phoenix Suns' 4-game winning streak. It moved the Kings 3.5 games ahead of the Suns for the number 3 seed in the Western Conference playoff race. De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Malik Monk, they used a balanced effort attack to take down the Phoenix Suns. There was no Phoenix Rising in that game. There was no Phoenix Rising. And every time we see these teams play, it's relatively close. it's within 11 points every single time. The highest time one of these two teams won was 11 by the Phoenix Suns for Game 2. And that was last month. That was February 14th. Let's think about that. But Devin Booker, 11 of 19 shooting for Phoenix, scored 28. DeAndre Jordan had 22 points and 12 rebounds. And Chris Paul added 16 points, 16 assists. The Suns just lost the edge. And we're starting to see something. There's a common theme between the Kings game, the Warriors game, and even to a certain extent the Bucks game, even though the Bucks are just gifted free throws by the refs. I'm going to break that down because it's truly astonishing. Truly astonishing in my opinion. It's actually very enraging. But I'm going to talk about it in a bit. I want to let you guys know something. You remember when I came out and I said, hey, I like the trade. I love that we got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of my most favorite players. I always wanted to come to the Phoenix Suns. But I say getting rid of Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges is going to be a mistake. Or more so Mikal Bridges. Because Mikal Bridges, we could have controlled. Cam Johnson, we were never going to agree upon a price. So I just knew that his coffin was sealed. That he was dead as a Phoenix Sun. And the only way he was going to come back to life was with a different team. Mikal Bridges, he was not dead. He was not being put away. Actually, it was the complete opposite. I did not want Mikal Bridges to go. I made trade packages involving Mikal Bridges because the rumors are ramping up and I was trying to feed into them to show you guys what the Suns would have to give up, including Mikal Bridges, for the Nets to say yes to a Kevin Durant trade. Did I want Mikal Bridges to go? No. And in those deals, Dario Saric was not like Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. What I mean by that? What I mean is that the Suns are now showing that they do not have two-way players. They do not have offense and defensive players. Offensive and defensive players do not exist. That was built in with Kevin Durant, but this shows you. So if you look at the Kings game, you saw Chris Paul 16-16, Devin Booker 28, and then you saw DeAndre Jordan 22 and 12. That's your big three. They did everything they could, but they got outpowered. Josh Okogie also had 15. He also had 15. With a block, an assist, no assist, but a steal. But the bench was weak. And you found out that, yes, Terrence Ross scored 18, but he's no two-way player. He revealed to everyone, and this was known for some time, that he was no two-way player, but it's revealed and confirmed for anyone that had a lingering doubt. Terrence Ross is a fine guard. He's a fine shooting guard. But by no means on this green earth is he a two-way player. And that's a problem, because you're going to get endings like these. You simply are. And you're going to get endings where their bench gets destroyed by another team's bench because they can't defend. So let's eliminate the starting five. Because Josh Okogie, nice two-way player. Devin Booker, amazing two-way player for the most part. His defense is good, but not Kevin Durant style good. Not Chris Paul level good, especially when he was in his prime. But let's rule out DA, CP3, D-Book, Josh Okogie. Let's roll him out. Torrey Craig, he's been hot and cold this season. I like Torrey Craig, I do. But, look, he's only given so much with 7, 5, and 1.5 per game. Just is. Those aren't starting numbers. And he's only in here because KD's out. I don't mean to be disrespectful towards towards Torrey Craig. Gosh, I can't speak today. My brain is being dumb today. But no, you guys know where I'm coming from. So exclude Torrey Craig because Torrey Craig's not a starting player. So he's a fine athlete. He's a good athlete, but a fine two-way player. He's not this excellent guy. He's not a model two-way player. Torrey Craig's not really a two-way player, but if he has to step up, he will. Defensively, he's good. Offensively, no. In that game, he had 4 points, but 7 defensive rebounds. That helps. And plus, he had 2 steals. So he's better defensively than offensively. So he's just a one-trick pony. It's not a two-trick pony. It's just a one-trick pony. Josh Okogie, on the other hand, he'd give you lockdown defense. He'd give you great offensive. He makes sense as a starter. He does. DA, obviously. CP Free, of course. D-Book, of course. Ish Wainwright, he's not a two-way player. What do I mean? He's not the greatest two-way player. In 15 minutes, you can't go 1 of 7 and contribute nothing offensively and get no rebounds either. And that's in 15 minutes. And that was the most, besides Terrence Ross. So him and Terrence Ross combined for 38 minutes. That was the most on the bench. Most on the bench. Terrence Ross thrives at playing offense. Defense, no. Ish Wainwright, he's a fine bench player, but he's no two-way player. TJ Warren, gosh, he's awful. He's not a bubble Warren. I need people to start getting their head put back on the right way. TJ Warren is not this elite athlete anymore, what people saw. He's just a 29-year-old averaging 6 minutes per game, a point, and 2 rebounds. He's meaningless on the Suns. He's not who he once was on Phoenix in 2017, 2018. He wasn't this prolific scorer like he used to be, or this good player, not great, but good player when he was with Indy. It's just different. It's absolutely different. And the Suns have this mediocre role from. It's not the Suns' fault. It's not TJ Warren's fault. Well, it is, but you guys get where I'm coming with TJ Warren. Bismack Biyombo, he is definitely not a two-way player, but it goes beyond the stats. He's a body that can be used. His frame allows for him to play solid defense. Jock Landale, he's not a two-way player. Darius Bazley, not a two-way player. He's only averaging 5, 3, and almost 1 off of 44% from the field this season. He's pretty much like another Ish Wainwright. There's nothing wrong with that, just saying. So in the pantheon of all things being considered, you're left with who? Landry Shamet? You're left with Landry Shamet. And everyone may not like him, including me, because he's very inconsistent. He's a very rocky player. But Landry Shamet, when healthy and when good, and having one of his good performances, he's a decent two-way player. So I'm just going to let you guys know this. The Suns have a problem. They traded away two good two-way players to get one Hall of Famer and a guy that doesn't even play more than 6 minutes a game. I love Kevin Durant, but when you don't have Kevin Durant, you don't have that Hall of Fame player, future Hall of Fame player. It's like, what the heck's happening? Well, what the heck happens is you get a bench where you see Trey Lyles, you see Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, Kessler Edwards. You see all these guys, and me too. You see all these guys go off, get 9+ points. Mitu was the only guy who did not score double digits, but he did get 9. So you see the point difference. You see the efficiency difference. And you can also see that in rebounds. If you want to break it up offensively and defensively, you can see that in the steals. You can see it in the block. Like Mitu, free assist. Mitu, free steals. No one else on the Suns bench had a steal besides Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross had 2. Here. Let's look at this. Malik Monk had 5 assists. The only person who came close to that on the bench was Campaign with 2. Terrence Ross was the only one that was going neck to neck with Malik Monk with 18. But he had a minus 18 plus/minus. Malik Monk had a plus 20. So you guys get where I'm coming from. The bench is weak. The Suns' bench got outplayed. Just that simple. And the problem is that the firepower on the bench outweighed the firepower on the Suns' bench. That's a fact. The Suns were able to hold on because they had Devin Booker 28, Chris Paul 16, DA 22, Josh Okogie 15. Then Torrey Craig was just straggling along, was just hopping on with 4 points, but he had those 7 defensive rebounds, a total of 2 steals. So that worked. It proved himself to be valuable in that game defensively. And it went neck to neck with Sabonis, with Barnes, with Murray. Right? Says I'm sorry, not Murray. Murray was awful. De'Aaron Fox. Sorry, I was reading the wrong style. My apologies. So when you consider all of that, you isolate. So pretty much, I'm just going to say this. The starting lineup got canceled out. It came down to the bench. And when you don't have two-way players, because Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, when Mikal was starting and when Cam was coming off that bench, you knew you were going to get some form of positive production. Especially when they were cooking. Especially when the Twins were heating up and getting through during the slump. Or if they were coming back from injury. Or, okay, really Cam Johnson, because Mikal Bridges really never misses a game. So there's a problem. Two-way players, a massive, massive weakness in the Phoenix Suns system, in their roster right now. And there's not enough rotations in the world. That's true what it is. Because you saw the Kings finish the game with a 13-4 run. They outscored Phoenix in the fourth quarter 32-24. That's 8-point difference. Sure, Phoenix had this great third quarter, and I appreciate that. But the Kings had the Suns' number. They just did. It was a competitive game, yes and no. The largest lead for the Suns were 11. The largest lead for the Kings was 10. The Suns fouled more. They had 7 more fouls that they were called for. So they were able to capitalize on more. And when I say capitalize, you're about to find out. So you're like, oh, it's only 7 more fouls. Phoenix Suns shot 22 free throws. The Kings shot 37. They made 31. That's 31-18. That's a 13-point difference. So that says a lot. So we were broken down. The refs gave some more calls to the Kings, but nonetheless, it got really, really bad for the Suns. Because you can't be shooting 29.5% from deep. But there's only a difference of 2 threes, so I'm not going to act like that's the biggest deal. The Suns shot better. The Suns made more shots than the Kings. The only difference was that the free throws was the biggest contributor. And then you had the late game stretch. The Suns were hot, and then when they're not, and it got very, very ugly very, very quickly. It's sad for the Suns this season, especially when injuries were rampant, or they were just not having a good game. That happened. That happened too darn well. And we know that feeling. It's a feeling we all hate, but it's a feeling we all know. I just want people to recognize that what the Suns have right now here is a problem. The Kings used their late run and stellar bench to push themselves past the Phoenix Suns. Sacramento outplayed them on the bench. That was the biggest difference. And when we gave up their starts for Darius Bazley, there's a difference. Not the biggest deal in the world, but still there's a difference. And when you gave up two solid pieces, there were major concerns on if it would hold up. And I'm not being I'm just going to say this. I'm not being reactionary just based off these free losses. I care less about the free losses. I'm looking at the bigger picture. But I'm just saying, it makes us wonder what would happen if we would have kept Mikal. I'm not blaming Matt Ishbia. I'm not blaming any of these guys. But, just saying, there's always going to be a big concern. We all knew that before, during, and after the Kevin Durant trade. We all knew that. Then what happened? What happened? Our worst nightmares came true. Mikal Bridges, Brooklyn Bridges, he's balling. He's popping off. Same with Cam Johnson. The Suns here are now struggling to find their new identity in this bench because this bench is so crappy that we have to somehow readjust everything. Because you can't have just 18, 20, 25, 29, 31, 34 points coming off the bench when you have 18, 31, 43, 52, 65 points. There's a 30-point difference on the bench. Cam Johnson would have given you an easy 15. You're making up for it. And that would have gave the Suns the victory. Heck, even if you only gave them 8 or 9, they would have made it closer. I'm just saying. Bench players matter. Two-way players matter. And the Suns, while capitalizing on a huge trade, now have to suffer from that trade because Kevin Durant's injured. And with the West being so tight, wow, stupid voice crack. While the West is being so tight, they have to now say, we can't go to 5th, we can't go to 6th. Because you go to 7th, you're in the playing tournament. And you're like, that ain't going to happen in the free world. Well, guess what, buddy? We're actually nearing it. And if we keep losing, because let's say we beat Orlando, great. Then if we keep losing to Sacramento, we keep trying to claw our way against both LA teams. Against the OKC Thunder. It's gonna get real ugly up in here real fast. And that's just the truth. What I'm spitting is the real truth. So, am I blowing these free games out of proportion? Heck no. Why? Because we're half a game behind 6. I'm sorry, in front of 6. We're 2.5 in front of 7th. And you telling me that like we can't drop? That ain't gonna happen? Watch it. If we keep having performances like these, it's gonna get worse. And you're like, that's reactionary. You're just like everyone else reacted. No, I'm looking at the standings. I'm looking at the Suns play. We've done this song and dance before. This ain't new. This simply is not new. And sadly, it could be getting worse. I'm not gonna be a fearmonger here, but what I am gonna say is the Suns need to get their act together. And I thought to myself, look, we have the back-to-back. Right? We have the back-to-back coming up, so we get a day off. We get to go face the Warriors. We get to avenge ourselves. We're 3-0. We get the clean sweep. That was one of the most ugliest games I ever saw. One of the most horrific, gut-wrenching, wants to make me puke everywhere games. I'll get it we want at home. Klay Thompson ain't forgetting anything. And Suns got their booties handed to them. I just want to let you guys know something. Devin Booker scored 32. DeAndre had a solid 27 and 12. I'm going to read you the box score. Torrey Craig, once again, couldn't do anything. He got a little bit of rebounds. Well, I'm not sure going to take that back. He couldn't do anything offensively. He's not a two-way player. He got 2 points offensively. He did really nothing offensively. With 1 assist. That's nothing offensively. But defensively, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 3 defensive rebounds. 3 defensive rebounds, yeah. So, a one-way player is not going to help you. Josh Okogie, 11 points. He was lacking defensively. DeAndre, he balled out. He was a two-way player. Chris Paul, 11-11. You take it as it is. He also got the steal. And then you see Devin Booker going off for 32, 4, 1, and 2. But guys, make no mistake. I'm about to read you this. I'm about to read you this, guys. Terrence Ross, Damian Lee, Cameron Payne, Jock Landale, Bismack Biyombo, T.J. Warren, Ish Wainwright played. They all played. I'm gonna read you guys this. 4, 8, 10, 19, 22, 29. The bench scored 29 points. Again, isolate the starters, kill them with the bench. They're not two-way players. And not only did Terry Ross do nothing, he wasn't even a one-way player. He struggled. Majority, 4/7 of their bench was in the negatives. Now, I'm not saying the starting unit ain't better, because they didn't, but I'm just saying, there's a lot more struggling going on. So let's compare this to the Warriors bench, who only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players play, compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players played for Phoenix. There is a difference. There is a 2-player difference. Like, well, it's only 2 players. That means a lot, buddy. It does. So you have 20, 29, 35, 39. That's a 13-point difference. That is a 13-point difference. That's a double-digit difference, and the final score is 123 to 112. And I get that Klay Thompson had the impressive 33-point in first half, but he only finished with 38. Devin Booker counteracted that with 32. Donte DiVincenzo only had 10. That was beaten by Chris Paul. Kevon Looney only had 9. That was beaten by Josh Okogie. Draymond Green had 4. Was coming in close by Torrey Craig. But they were similar. Even though Draymond Green had a little more passing involved, it was still kind of similar. They were close. Stephen Curry had 23, but DA took care of that. You guys do realize it's coming down to the bench. And when the bench can't perform because there's not enough two-way players to stop this team, to stop any team, that's bad. But going beyond the two-way player, we have a real bench problem. Depth is fine, bench is not, because the depth is in quantity, not quality. I love these guys, but it's not working out. It just simply is not working out. And I get it. Cameron Payne is getting back into the swing of things. But Terrence Ross should not be going 1-5 and 15. Ish Wainwright should not be going 1-2 and 13. TJ Warren, whatever, he played 3 minutes. Jock Lindell actually played well for the 3 minutes. He got 2-2. That's all you can do in 3 minutes. It is what it is with Cameron Payne. He led the bench for 9 points and 3 assists. It's just bad. Damon Lee should not be going 3 of 9 from the field in 18 minutes. But he still has 7 points and 5 rebounds. So it's whatever. That's a serious problem, guys. That's an absolute problem. I think many people aren't taking it as such. This is great for opponents. And we're playing legitimate teams here. We lost to the reigning champs. That's a legitimate opponent. Forget about their record. They're a legitimate team. They're a legitimate opponent. I want everyone to understand that the Suns actually have a real crisis because we got rid of 2 players. Actually 3, because Darius Bazley is not going to turn out the way that we all thought it was going to be. Not right now. He's not even playing. You keep Dario Saric. I get it was not going to work out, but come on. You try keeping him. You try everything. Because I'd rather have Mikal and Dario. Cam, again, we were never going to be able to keep him. He just wanted too much. He wanted $10 million more than what we were going to get him. I didn't think the Suns were actually going to get him anything, to be honest. Plus, Cam is unknown with injuries. The injury bug on him. I love him in Brooklyn. I love the Twins, but injuries got the best of Cam. But I want this to be known for everyone. The bench is an issue. When you take away 2-way players or very strong 1-way players, you're gonna get hosed. That's a fact. That is a downright fact. And I don't know how many times I have to say to people. Because in that game, and I'm going to go beyond the stat line, because for us to only lose by 11 is a gosh darn miracle. First quarter, 43-21. Was not the Phoenix Suns. It was the Golden State Warriors. We were losing by 22. Then the Suns make it 37-32 in the second. Okay, we're getting some mojo. We're getting some mojo now. It's not the world's worst thing, right? We were able to edge out 58 points to their 75. It's bad. It's bad, guys. And I don't mean to be taking long breaks or feeling deflated, but it's not the first time we had this rodeo. It's just not. Because when you go to the end of the second quarter and you see us losing 75-58, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Then third quarter, we're rebounding. Bad news, guys. Bad absolute news. So, let's go to 357. This is why I noted, this is why I saw. Devin Booker misses 26-foot three-point jumper. Josh Okogie got the offensive rebound by making the tip shot. It's 87-84. Golden State Warriors, they get it within 3. The Suns start missing shots with the 19-footer by D-Book. The running pull-up jump shot by CP, that misses. Bismack Biyombo, he can't make anything. After once we have 357 and going down, guess how many points he scored? 4! They scored 4. The Warriors at 357 going on went on an 11-4 run. That's not good. And that put it at a 10-point game. It was a very dysfunctional game. very sloppy game. I don't know how else to put it. It was a very dysfunctional, very heartbreaking game, and it enraged me because we had every single chance. We had momentum, then we got scored. You just put out the fire. They got the fire extinguisher and put out the fire. It was simple as that. They were the Golden State firefighters. As cringy as it may sound. And then you go into the fourth quarter, and by my notes, I noticed something. It starts to take the Suns a while to score. It takes them a whole minute to score, and you're like, what's the problem with that? Now it's 190. You keep going through, right? And you see that you got this fighting chance. But it never gets better. Because now by the 9:16 mark, after a Klay Thompson 14-footer, it's 104-92. So that's a 12-point game. So you keep on going through, and you're like, there has to be this major run. But it never got that way. Fouls were going. Not a lot of shots were happening. It just got real ugly really, really fast. And I'm sitting there. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, this is legit sad. This is actually legit sad. Because it was not the Phoenix Suns game. It's not I don't want to say this. It's not the loss that hurts me the most because every team loses. It's how we lost and why we lost. We know the why because it happened in the Kings game, and we know how we lost because it also happened in the Kings game. It just gets really bad. It does. But I'm going to keep taking this play by play because I have certain notes down here. But I'm just going through it all. So you're like, okay, DeAndre Drain, he makes a nice jumper. Makes an 18-foot jumper, Terry Ross assist, whatever. Makes a 107-96 with 8 minutes to go. That's super. But you continue going down that path. Finally, at the 6:15 mark, the driving lineup by D-Book gets them 100 points, but they're still down by 10. Then all of a sudden, you just see, come the 5-minute mark, they're down by 14. Come the 4:26 mark, they're down by 16. And now they're starting to battle. They're just trying to just do anything in their power. They have nothing. Now they're down by 17. Come the 2:51 mark, when they call a timeout. When the Suns call a timeout. It gets worse from there. So then, they stop scoring. So after the Steph Curry 3-point jumper at 2:53, they went scoreless for the final 3 minutes of the game. Why? Because the Suns were toast. Because the Suns were able to score 6 points in the final 3 minutes. That's heartbreaking, and that just makes me so angry. Because even while the Warriors were struggling 2 times, the 2 critical times of the game, and the third and fourth quarter, you could not capitalize, and you allowed them to have 11-4 run, you allow them to have all these runs, and you allow them just to stay on top. And it's very disgusting. You can't go 19% from free and expect to win. You can't go 48% from the field and expect to win. That's just a fact. And that's with the Warriors missing 10 free throws. Just saying. Like, this loss comes down to inefficiency to score, because at one point the Suns were getting amazing looks, the right opportunities. They just couldn't cash them in. Even if it was a layup or something that resembled a layup, it was never going to work. And that's why the largest deficit they were facing was 25 points. It's so sad. The Suns should have been able to win that game to become 30 before the Bucks game, 38-30, not 37-31. I guess it is what it is. But it was so dysfunctional. It was so heartless. We just could not do anything right. And it's not that we didn't care. We gave it our all. We tried. We battled. But then when we got stopped, all of our momentum got stopped. When we hit the wall, we crashed and burned. 11-4 run. It's over. We had hope until the final 4 minutes of the third quarter when they went double digits, and then we never were able to get single digits again that was meaningful. Then you have to play the back-to-back versus Milwaukee Bucks at home. I didn't watch much of the game, to be honest. I stuck around for the third and fourth quarter. I got to see that unfold. I watched the second half. First half, I just couldn't make it to the first half. Torrey Craig lost a tooth in the third quarter after taking an inadvertent elbow from Antetokounmpo, but how is that not a flagrant foul? How's that not a flagrant 2? Because the Suns got hosed today. He got hosed that game. How much do you have to hate the Phoenix Suns? Antetokounmpo had 24 free throws. And Devin Booker was matched up against a very physical defender and Drew Holiday. And only had 3 free throw attempts. That's actually really sad. Giannis Antetokounmpo keeps getting bailed out, especially against the Phoenix Suns, or really against any team, because the refs are trying to make him this next big thing, and the league just wants him to be, oh, look at him, he's so dominant. Look at him, he's forcing his way. Oh, look at him go. Bro, if you give a guy 24 free points or 24 attempted free points, anyone could become a star. It's not hard. It's annoying. The first time Giannis got called for a foul was late into the third. He ended with one personal foul that was late into the third. It's really bogus. It's cheap. It's really pathetic if you think about it. It really is. The refs just try to help the Bucks out every step of the way. You had a 21 free throw difference. Giannis got 24-37 for the Bucks. Devin Booker got 3 of the 23. You called the Suns for 11 more fouls. But also, I just want to say, despite Giannis being carried by the refs and being coddled, Devin Booker was only 6 points behind. And he didn't have those 24 free throw attempts. He had 3 free throw attempts, and he was 100% from the field. But I'm just saying, that says a lot. Just saying, if you give the Suns those amount of fouls, if you let them go to the line, trip to the line that many times, they win that game. Just saying. So, was it the worst game I ever saw? No. Should the Suns be able to win it? Yeah, but they got robbed. I'm not going to hear and keep crying about it because our bench really didn't do anything. Bismack Biyombo and TJ Warren, you're not expecting them to do anything. Terrence Ross is what it is. But at least they put up 33 points as a bench. They actually outscored. They outscored them. What did I say? 38? Hold on. 33. My apologies. They outscored their bench by 3. So, it just was really bad because it was a back and forth game. Just the Suns got hosed because the refs keep coddling Giannis. He could take more than 10 seconds at the free throw line for a single free throw. Giannis can elbow a man in the face and make him lose his teeth. oh, that's not a foul, or oh, that's not an ejection. I swear, that would have been an ejection if anyone else would have done that. But not Precious Giannis. Not the Bucks. It's actually really garbage if you think about it. And I'm not saying this as a Suns fan, I'm saying this as an NBA fan, because I've seen crap pulled like this a lot, especially in favor for Giannis. So I watch a lot of Bucks games. I watch a lot of those games. And there's a lot of crap going on where they're actually being affected by officiating, where these opposing teams are being affected. And it's really, really sad. It just simply is. Quite frankly, it's sickening. Quite frankly, it is. And it's not enjoyable. It wasn't. Because while I was watching the Suns game, I was doing other things in the meantime. Because I'm like, this is not enjoyable. It's just not. Because Giannis, because he's had a lot more offensive fouls. The Suns or any team should not be called for that many defensive fouls. In fact, Giannis should be starting being called for offensive fouls. Because he's using his body a lot more than the defense is. For the Suns, for the Nets, for any team. For any team. For any defender. Beyond the Suns. It's actually really sickening. But I'm not going to keep going into it. The Suns just have to take it like a man. I know the Bucks can't. But coddled their entire time are refs. Whatever. I get that they have talent and stuff. But makes you wonder. Just saying, guys. It's just real interesting to me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying with this Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff and how much garbage he's able to get away. Still trying to make him the face of the NBA post LeBron. It's not going to work. And we get garbage like this. No wonder why guys don't want to play defense anymore, because it suits offense. And that's really, really bogus. It's really, really cheap. And that's just a straight up, non-biased fact. You should make an article about that. But do the research yourself, guys. It's a fact. But, that being said, I'm going to shut about that talking point, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to talk about the Suns now. I'm going to get back to them. And to say, with me saying all of that, this is all I have. We just have some deep issues. We do. Well, I don't want to say like deep where they can't be resolved, but it's deep enough where it's causing us losses over and over and over and over again. That's a straight up fact. Straight up fact. The Suns have to get down under control. There's always pros and cons to that Kevin Durant trade. I've said it from the beginning. I'll continue to say it now. I love Kevin Durant. I'm happy we got him, but there's always going to be those pros and cons, and I get that. But it's hurting us now. It's costing us now. And with the West being so tight, you just have to continue on. You just have to truck on. That's pretty much all that you can do. Honestly, I can't think of anything else. I just can't. It's sad to say that, but what can you do? Not a whole lot, guys. Not a whole lot. So, guys, with that being said, I'm going to be wrapping up the podcast episode here, the bonus podcast episode. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, sticking to the end. I greatly appreciate you guys. Again, you know where to find us. Keep listening to my podcast episodes, especially the ones that came out the past few days about the Kevin Durant injury, about the biggest injury that's impacted the West. I'm going to keep breaking down these awards. I'm pretty much done with that. Friday, we're going to go back to our normal segments, most likely. I can't think of anything else. But yeah, guys, keep checking out those podcast episodes detailing the MVP, Rookie of the Year, Depoy, Sixth Man of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Coach of the Year. Just keep rocking it, guys. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all on Friday. Peace out.